Finally. What's going on, YouTube? Back in January, I ordered an integrated taillight from TST Industries for the FZ09. This taillight has been in development for several months, and finally yesterday it has arrived. I'm really excited to get it on the bike and finally get rid of those stock signals once and for all. Get this opened up and installed on the bike as quickly as we can. I also ordered a couple of undertail closeouts. This is to actually fill in the holes where the stock signals will be removed, keeps dirt and water and things from getting inside of the tail section. And a piece that I have been waiting for. There's a little bit of thunder going on outside, so just don't mind that. I went with the smoke signal. I think it's going to blend in a little bit better. There it is. Really excited about this. Let's go over to the bike and start taking things down. Step number one is going to be to remove the seat. Next, we want to remove some push pins from the undertail. You can see those down here. There's a total of, it looks like 6 of those. So we'll get a small screwdriver and pull those out. Correction, there's 7. Our next step is to remove these Allen bolts here. There's actually 6 of them here, but you're only supposed to remove the 2 lower ones and the 2 upper ones. It's a 4mm Allen. So now what we need to do is just pull this plastic piece back, the whole fairing piece, so that it releases from the tail light itself. So that releases that. Now we can remove this bracket here that holds the seat lock mechanism. This will now allow us to undo our wiring. Then we can also release the 2 plugs here for the turn signals. There's just a couple little safety clips that hold those on. Alright, that's all of those. Alright, now there's 2 bolts here on the back side of the light itself that we need to remove. And there are also 2 more. You can see these down here on the bottom side of the light that need to be removed. And that will release our tail light. So we can pull that out. And now we have 2 10mm bolts here that we need to remove to release the factory signal. We can temporarily move this out of the way. Alright, so now we can remove the entire underpiece here, so that we can access the bolts that hold on the turn signals. And that's just a matter of wrestling it on out, just like that. Okay, so we can get the rest of these bolts out. We'll have to put a 10mm wrench on the bottom. Like so. Pull both of these out. And that is going to remove the entire turn signal assembly. Now we can put in our closeout blocks on the undertail. These are just going to mount in the same position that we removed the taillight bracket. There's 2 bolts with each one of them that came with the kit. They just thread in from the top. And these brackets are labeled with a left and a right. Make it a little bit easier to determine which one goes where. I'm not going to tighten these up completely just yet because there is a little bit of movement. I want to make sure we get them in the right spot. And I'll show you this one here from the top side. This is the right side bracket. Again, I'm just going to do them finger tight. Now we're ready to put on the new taillight. Okay, and you want to make sure also that you swap over these little retainers here that were on the stock light. Those need to be moved over, the 2 down here and the 2 up at the top. Make sure that you keep them in the right orientation, and also notice that the silver ones go on the bottom and the gray ones go on the top. We can reinstall our undertail piece. Don't go crazy when you tighten these up because they can strip out pretty easy. Okay, so the next step now is to pull these back onto the tail light. Oh, it's all still pretty loose. Lock into place there. Check the underneath, make sure everything is fitting properly. Everything looks good. And now we can reinstall our push pins. This is where you want to just double check to make sure that you have all of these plastic tabs and everything lined up where they belong. Insert the pins, press them in. Whoop. On the closeouts, they have 2 little pins that go on there. Okay, so once we have everything on the underside positioned the way we want it, I can remove the front 2 bolts here on these closeouts and reinstall the support bracket that holds the tail light on the back side. I'll leave the other 2 tight, that way it stays in place. We'll run our wires on the inside of here. So you will not be reusing these 2 spacers that were with that's part of the original hardware. Now we can tighten this all down. Now we can wire everything back in. Just for reference, the turn signal wire with the brown, or the turn signal plug with the brown wire will go on the black plug. And the green wire goes on the gray one. that back in. And secure it all back down. Tuck it back in. Now we can put our bolts back on the back side of the tail light. That hardware came with the kit. And that is going to be a Phillips head screw. We'll tighten those with a Phillips screwdriver. This is threading in plastic, so once again, don't overdo it. Okay. And now we can reinstall our seat latch mechanism. Good time now to test the seat latch to make sure that it's functioning properly. Okay. Now we can reinstall the 4 screws that go on the top. Double check everything for a fit. It looks like it's all good. Okay, now next we're going to adjust the brake light and turn signal. Just to let you know, I do have the TST Industries flasher relay already installed on the bike, so that slows down the flash rate from having that Piper flash, and also didn't have to use the resistors that came with the light. So you have different modes on this. I think I'm going to go with that setup. Now we can reinstall our seat, and this project is done. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's video. Finally, we have gotten rid of the factory turn signals. Have a much more streamlined look. So that's going to do it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.